How are you guys doing? I am live from the Cole Kelly Library, the Kelly Library, and I just really want to have some conversation with you guys about um, the state of the world right now and where we are, etc., and also to get some input from you all about um, just different parts of the day and the world as we know it. So let me start by saying that we are about to head on to Thanksgiving break, and we are about to come back from a 2 week stint of remote learning. So November 30th, we are scheduled to come back into school for normal school. The last 2 weeks have been, I know, taxing for many parents, but it has also been a situation where I think you would agree your child progressed. If your child didn't progress, it was because there was a connectivity issue. But I will tell you what I saw. I saw teachers engaging. I saw work being delegated that was important. The resource room, students with IEPs were given instruction. Mrs. Graves, Mrs. Doak, Mrs. Morris, uh, Mrs. Tholen, Mrs. Maddox, Miss Stingley, Mrs. Dunham, Mrs. Frick were all focused on giving what they needed to give. Uh, it was like a telemarketing event when I go into the resource room. So students with individual needs were being met. Mrs. Storms was holding individual meets. The teachers were meeting, and they were also giving out work, and they were trying to find balance. And again, we knew this was a possibility. We did. When we started the school year, we knew this was a possibility. And when it came, we were ready. And I want to commend right now the staff at Cole Elementary because they knocked it out of the park, as did, from what I see, every staff member in TSC that I've seen were working really hard to make this happen. This is not easy. This is not easy on you as a mom and a dad and a grandma and grandpa. It's not easy for teachers. And so we said to ourselves last April, we just had the kids back for 2 weeks. We could teach them and get to a different point. Well, we had them back for 50 days, 54 days. And we learned as a staff, we learned as students, and we did a pretty darn good job, I must say. So I really am proud of the teachers and the instructional aides. I will tell you, the office staff kept answering questions. They kept doing what they needed to do. The floors have been cleaned. The custodians are working hard on that. They were painting yesterday, touching up. They've cleaned the classrooms from top to bottom. The Mrs. Thompson and Mrs. Waldridge handed out over 50 breakfasts and lunches every time we had a pickup. Miss Lewandowski has been doing meets. We've done an amazing job. And so, but I want to thank you all for your part in this as well, because this was needed because we couldn't in TSC man school. And at some point, the hard decision has to be made. Do we want our children in school and just really being, supervised, or do we want them taught by licensed educators? And so that's why the change happened. And again, our goal is we're back November 30th, and we are instructing kids, and we have 3 weeks to get to holiday winter break. Um, and we're going to talk about what that looks like. But I will share it with you. This morning, I was at school a little early. I had to pick something up that I had left at school and bring it back to my house. So I was here a little early, and I dropped off my cardboard in the recycling bin because that's what I do. If I have a recycling bin here, I drop it off here in Stockwell. I turned the corner, and my light on my car had gone off, and it was says my tire pressures were low. And it's done that a couple times when it's wet. I don't know what's going on with that. I just had my tire, I had a nail in it, I just had it fixed. So I had adjusted everything. And so I'm like, ah. So I pull up, I get the thing I need. I'm driving down the long lane at Cole, and I hear, ah. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what is that? So I get out, and I got my little flashlight out, my little phone, and I'm scanning around. Tires look good. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm like, okay, I just hear things. So I get back in, and I start driving, and I hear, ah! I'm like, what is going on? And so I get out again, I look again, and underneath the car are two of those orange cones you see everywhere at Cole right now. I had hit them when I had done my little U-turn, when I had dropped off the cardboard and the dumpster, and I hit them, and I was dragging them underneath the car. And I thought to myself, that's kind of a good metaphor for 2020. It's like a cone dragged under a car. Don't you feel that way a little bit? So it's kind of like that. We've had an interesting 11 months. I'm not going to lie. When January 1 rolls around, I'm hoping that 2021 brings us some better news, because it's been a tough year. And so, I thought to myself, okay, but here's the deal. We have had 0 students COVID positive since school started at Cole Elementary. A few staff members have had some concerns over the break, but we're all good. All right. So, as a principal, my goal is, number one, I want kids to learn. All right. And our mission statement is, we help students learn, we grow kind citizens, and we keep children safe. And so, safety's been huge to me. It's been very important to me. It still is. I'm not going to lie. I still worry about, I still am a stickler about masks. I'm still a stickler about hand sanitizer. I'm still a stickler about social distance, because I want kids to be safe. And honestly, don't forget, we have a ton of adults in this building. I want them safe too. All right? So I was like, the cones are a good metaphor, because here we go. Now, I will tell you, the cones are kind of pulled up right now because the wind's been blowing and they've been scattered all over the parking lot. So I told Mrs. Southern, don't mess with it till Monday. Don't mess with it. So she's going to get it. She's been doing some stuff around she and Miss Chrissy, one of our new custodians, have been doing some touch-ups on some carpets today. But I said, leave the cones alone. We'll have a chance on Monday to do that. So just know that that's out there. All right. A couple things happened yesterday in the works, and I want, this is the time of year we talk about gratitude. Our life skill this week is gratitude. Remember, at Cole Elementary, a very important part of our focus every day is citizen building. And part of being a citizen is you understand life skills. Truth, trust, honesty, those types of things. So the last week and a half, we focused on the word gratitude. Of course we would. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We give thanks. And so there's a lot we could be thankful for. I know you all have traditions in your home about what you're thankful for and what you, and we have a lot to be thankful for. And I will say, start right now with health. Because many of you know someone who has been sick, or who has even lost a loved one to a sickness, or has had the terrible situation where they couldn't be with a loved one who's been sick in the hospital. So look around the table and say, thank goodness people here are safe and they're not sick, all right? Start with that. But you all have your ways to be thankful. In this community, though, I will tell you, I am so impressed. I have always said this community is one of the most generous communities I've ever felt in my life, ever dealt with. I've told people, we will never, ever be snowed in at Cole Elementary. Why? Because the snow plows will come. People will come get us. All I do is say, I need help. And they would be here, pushing snow, getting things done. All right? I love that about this community. And when I've needed help this year, you guys have stepped forward. You have crossed that line. You have done what we needed to do. And I love that about you. Thank you. So yesterday, I get a phone call from Mrs. Ziller, Chris Ziller, who is associated with the United Methodist Church in Stockwell, also the chairwoman of Keep Stockwell Beautiful. And she said, Mr. Pinto, my heart is full. And I said, what? This is about 6 o'clock. What's going on? She said, you know what? We just gave out 10 giving baskets to community members. That's the bell that says school's about to start. So if you're listening to me live, boys and girls, you've had 10 minutes to get on your Google Meet, if that's when you have it. By the way, we got time. I'm not done yet. 10. And I will tell you, I put a call out for that basket out front, and it was filled every day. And you know what? There were amazing amounts of giving given. So the people who showed up, who were part of that basket giveaway, they got Thanksgiving and then some. They got Everything from a turkey to dessert to toilet paper. So thank you. I got a phone call on Monday. No, last Friday from Pastor Stedge in the Clarksville Christian Church. And he says, Mr. Pinto, I have some good news and I need your help. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, we have Christmas with the Cop on December 6th. So that is people who live in Laramie Township. Our wonderful friend, Scott Fisher, the Clarksville Marshal, has organized that. John Ruby Parks and the Clarksville Christian Church and the United Methodist Church in Stockwell and community members have supported it. And usually we take students to Walmart and we shop and then they get a meal. Well, obviously we've got to do things differently this year. We just have to. So we are. So there's going to be a drive-through on December 6th. But he said, I want to give everyone a meal for Christmas. So he's been asking for donations. Well, he put a donation out. He put a request out to Costco. Well, Costco in Indianapolis at the warehouse, that company provides a turkey for their employees, which is amazing. And but they also have this program where you can give it back. So you say, you know what? Don't give me that turkey. Give it to somebody else who needs it. So he said, he put a request in. He said, you know what? I expected, 10 turkeys. Because I got a phone call. He says, I've got 125 turkeys coming. 125! So he says, I'm looking for storage. Well, we have rules about cross-contamination in a school. We can't take a lot of things from the outside, so we were unable to help it. Pastor Stedge is resourceful. He knows a lot of people. He got some storage, and then he got some storage as well in Clarksville with the fire department and with the community building and with the church. And those turkeys, imagine 125 turkeys. I said to Clarksville Marshal Scott Fisher, what does 125 frozen turkeys look like? He said, imagine 6 to a box and a pallet and a half in the back of a pickup truck. I'm like, okay, I want to see that. But December 6th, we're going to give away, the Marshal's going to give away to, again, parents and children in need for Christmas with Christmas with the Cop. And the Clarksville Fire Department's doing things. There's so much giving going on right now. That does my heart good because there's always someone, if you look around, who needs some little help more than you do. It also doesn't take much for us to look around and realize that, we think sometimes our life's terrible because things aren't necessarily going exactly how we'd like them to go. And then we look around and we say, better than that. I live downtown in Lafayette, and when my wife and I oftentimes will pull up, and there's a gentleman who is homeless, and he is he sits at a bench, and he's there part of the time and goes. And I always talk to him, and I always feel like it's important in those conversations. My wife would always hug these individuals that she would meet, and we don't do that now because of COVID. But we always try to call their names. And so the gentleman's name is Randall, and we give him like granola bars, or if we see him and we're going to stop, we'll stop and get him a sandwich or something from Wendy's. But when I've had a rough day, I think I got a place to sleep. I've got heat. I've got running water. I've got a home. I've got a family. So it doesn't take much. So I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. But that's amazing that we have a community like that. So on the good side, November 30th is coming. And I will tell you, Rachel Vaughn, Wendy Benner, Jackie Jansing, and Megan Gordon are the PTO officers. And they said, Mr. Pinto, along with Mrs. Downham. Mrs. Downham, by the way, retired second grade teacher extraordinaire, shopper amazement. We want to do Holly Shop. Well, guys, we can't do a lot of things we used to be able to do. And you understand that. You guys have been great about that. We can't set it up in the gym. We can't have all those kids around. We can't do it. So the teacher's like, we want to do it. And I'm like, okay, I got to guard against this because I know Jenny Sheets. And if I told Jenny Sheets you could do this, she'd kill herself to do it. And you know what? I need Jenny Sheets safe and sane and alive. And Kelly Curtis and Eric Russell and Jessica Ferger And Ashley, Lord, I need all of the people on my staff to be able to do this, but not kill themselves. And so we pivoted. We said, all right, how do we do it? So we're going to do an elf shop. So the week we come back, everything's $2. Now you got sent home things in your child's book backpack before the day we went home or the day before we went home. There is an envelope. There's information. Everything's $2. There's a limit to how much you can buy. So look, if you haven't opened your child's book bag, first of all, shame on you because you need to. But second of all, dig it out because you need to get that stuff, that money back in, so that when we open up school on Monday and we do our holly shop in the classrooms next week, your child's ready. All right, and it's going to be the best we can do. But you know what? It's going to be something. So hats off to the PTO. Hats off to all the volunteers who came to We Are Rec Center. Hats off to making it happen. And I will tell you, I want you to dust off your best recipes because the PTO is going to do a cookbook. And you know what? We haven't done a cookbook in a long time. And I'm looking forward to seeing some good recipes. I can't wait to see Louis Vaughn's favorite recipe. Just going to put it out there, Louis. Hope you got one in there. So that's coming. PTO, I'm calling it the elf shop because it's really not the holly shop. It's going to be in the classroom. But thank you. And thank you to Mrs. Downham and her husband Dale, who store all the bought goods for the entire year so that we can do this every year. So my hope is that sometime next week, your child comes home with stuff from the holly shop that's ready to go for your Christmas. And we're going to do it as fast as we can because I'll be honest with you, we just don't know right now with the numbers. Fair enough? All right. So I'm going to be interviewed today on the radio. That's scary. Something called Feed the Need, the backpack program. We're blessed in this community to provide 12 backpacks every week to families in need. And so there's a radio campaign today about that for donations and things. So listen for that. Again, I will try to sound as smart as I can and represent Cole and you all as best I can. But Miss Lewandowski heads that up. We just ordered more backpacks because they wear out. But again, if you are looking for a donation, you can make a donation to the Food Fighters Food Bank and put in the donation of the memo of the check or when you make a donation, Cole Elementary backpack program, and it will go directly to us to keep that going. It's about $3,000 to do that every year, and then the backpacks, we have to we load those up and they go back and forth 36 times. They get worn out, so that's usually about $400 a year to replace those. So if that's something you're looking for, do it. It's a great program, and we thank Food Fighters. I want to say once more that I am so proud of everyone in their virtual. I woke up this morning early. I've been waking up a little earlier. I've been going to bed early. I've been waking up early. So woke up this morning, and I got an email from Jasper Keck's mom. Now, Jasper Keck's a third grader. And Jasper Keck, I don't call him just Jasper. It's Jasper Keck. Jasper Keckman has AR goal. Now, that's not a big deal because Jasper Keck's smart, and lots of you guys make your AR goals. But Jasper Keck's sitting there with the biggest smile going, I put it on Facebook because you know what? We need to celebrate those wins. And Jasper, good job, and all the rest of you guys who've been reading, good job. And really, as Mrs. Curtis said, Mr. Pinto, we're going to come back on Monday, and we're going to pick up right where we left off because we've done a good job. We have not slowed down over this virtual. We've done a great job. The kids have worked hard. They've gotten on. They've done their work. I'm really proud of them. So I feel good about that. All right, a couple things before we finish up. Something new is coming, and I'm kind of excited about it. I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen if you are a bus rider before winter break. My hope is that we can get it started maybe end of next week with Mrs. Summerfield's bus, and for sure by the rest of the buses before that goes. So I'm going to use Mrs. Summerfield's, 9 o'clock, time to start school. I'm going to use Mrs. Summerfield's daughter, Haley's badge. We got these badges provided to us by the picture company. And so what they have is a little scan code on the bottom. All right? You see that? We specifically did not put pictures on these because we obviously wanted, again, safety is important. We don't want this to be lost, somebody be able to find someone and do that. But we're going to put these on your child's backpack, all right? And they have a little thing at the top. Honestly, I'm looking for some suggestions here. I'm thinking maybe zip ties, maybe to go through here to tie on. If you guys have any zip ties, small zip ties you want to donate to the cause, we're going to put these on your child's backpack. And then what's going to happen is when he or she gets on the bus, they're going to scan the barcode, and it registers. Okay. When they get off, they're going to scan it. If you have "Here comes the bus," you're going to be able to see that your child got on the bus and got off the bus. And here's why I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, if we ever have a bus accident, I can pull up instantly who's on that bus. All right? And I don't want to have a bus accident. I'm not saying that, but it allows that to happen. It also allows us to make sure sometimes we have kids that go different directions. And sometimes we think they're on the bus, but they're not on the bus, or they're supposed to be parent pickup, and then they got on the bus. We're going to know that. All right? So we're the first school in TSC to try this because our size allows us to try these things. And this may or may not come other directions. Again, we're blessed because of our size. I like this safety feature. I think it's a good thing. And I want to thank Leslie Summerfield and the bus drivers for being open to it. So that's a good thing. I think that's exciting, and that's coming. All right. So we just got these in the mail yesterday from Interstate Studio. And by the way, thank you to everyone who came to picture retakes and to our virtual pictures yesterday. I really literally thought we'll have 2 people show up. We had 18. Isn't that amazing? So thank you to that. All right. Couple things I'm going to stop talking because I've been on too long. $4.38. So as I told you, I was up early because I'd forgotten something at school and I needed to get it for home. So I got up and I went through the Mary Lou. I'm not going to lie, I went through the Mary Lou's drive-thru today. You ever have an apple fritter from Mary Lou's? I mean, hard to beat a Mary Lou's apple fritter. Anyway, just so you know, at 5:02 this morning, when I was at Mary Lou's Donuts, there were 5 cars in front of me, and the wait took me 15 minutes, but I got my apple fritters. My wife and I had an apple fritter this morning, so that was good. But anyway, that's not the story. So I kind of run on unsweetened iced tea. So I drove up the road from Mary Lou's, and I went to McDonald's, and I got my unsweet iced tea, and I said, as I say, and you guys have done this too, I'm going to buy the person behind me. $4.38. So, it's Thanksgiving. I'm in a good mood. I'm like, let's do this. So I hand the person a $5 bill and I speed off because, I don't want the change, number one, because there's a change shortage. Number two, they're out of McDonald's house. Drop it in there. Easy. So I pull forward and the person honks. And you wave, say, hey, you're welcome, whatever. Stranger, don't know them. Then I saw something that made me feel good. That person handed a bill out the window and bought the person behind them. Just because. The little things really do matter. Okay? If we all do just one little thing every day for someone, not ourselves, just because we're better. All right? And so, especially during this holiday season, think about that. Do something just because. Take care of yourself, don't get me wrong, but also, if you can help somebody else just because, help them. If that means, instead of trying to sell something you have extra, you give it away to a neighbor, give it away. If that means you buy a drink for the person in line behind you, buy the drink. If that means you shovel someone's driveway next door to you, or cut their grass, or drop them off cookies, do it. This community is thankful and grateful and all in, and you guys get that. It was a good reminder today. It made me feel happy because in my head, and I tell myself these stories all the time in my head, the guy behind that person paid that person too. All right? I did ask somebody one time, I said, what's the longest anyone's done? And he said 16 cars in a row. Okay? And I'm not going to lie, I've benefited from that before. And somebody's like, they bought your drink. And I'm like, how much is the guy behind me? $20. I'm like, don't have that in my wallet right now. Sorry. But, as a whole, if we can do those little things, do those things. Okay, one more thing. Here's my plug. Our plan is to come back on November 30th. All right? But you and I both know right now that the pandemic is alive and well. The positivity rate is above 11%. It's climbing. People are getting sick. Hospitals are getting full. The people who are parents and community members who are in the healthcare industry, pharmacists, work in nursing homes, work at hospitals, nurses, doctors, thank you. We can only stay open if we can stay open. So this is my campaign to you, my plug, we have to do this together. Masks are annoying, but we have to wear them if we can. Social distance. I know many of you have made sacrifices for Thanksgiving because you don't want to get your children infected or your parents infected. And that's hard and that stinks. We've been fortunate in this school corporation that we've had students that are tested positive. But what's going to shut us down is the rate of positivity and the number of adults who when we can't operate school safely, or we can't operate school from an instructional benefit standpoint. That's what caused us to shut down before. So we've got to do our part. All right. We're all in this together. We've been in this together from the start. We have to self-sacrifice. We have to do our part. We have to. We want children in school with us. But we also want. I want every staff member to be safe and to feel safe. I want every parent to be safe and feel safe. And I want every child to be safe and feel safe. All right? So I'm not alone in that voice. Everybody who's an educator feels the same way. And so if we can do our part, and again, I keep telling myself, we're going to get to a different point on this at some point. You know, there's vaccines coming. Hopefully we can ride this out and get to a different side of this. But we have to have everyone do their part to make sure that we can do this. So the plan as it stands right now is November 30th, we're back in school. But again, the community spread, as you've seen around the state, that sometimes dictates what has to happen. So be safe. Self-sacrifice, as you have and continue to do, and realize that you have just as much hand in this thing called school as the superintendent of the school board who have to make these hard decisions. Because we have had to react to circumstances that are beyond our control. We have had to react to, honestly, family and community spread, not school spread. And that's not a lecture. That's just me telling you the facts. All right. And so, be safe. Enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for humoring me in terms of listening to this long video. Thank you for letting me, allowing me to lead this school, be part of this community. Thank you to the staff. You guys are amazing. And again, my gratitude also goes out to all of you because you have helped us this school year in ways you'll never know. I've never asked for something this year and not had it. And I'll ask again. I'm getting to the point now where because people say, Mike, we want to help. All right? But thank you. I expect tomorrow to be foundered with turkey and dressing. I'm excited about that. The pie as well. I hope you have a great time with your family that you're going to be with. I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope that you stay safe. You enjoy the moment. Remember, gratitude's our life skill this week. Extends all the way to next Sunday. So when you sit around the table or the living room with your plate and you give thanks, start with health, and then look around and think, you know what, I've got good things going for me because you guys are doing an amazing job. And I hope this was informative. Excited about some of the things we have going on. Elf Shop coming up. Don't forget your $2. All right, $2 bills. Wouldn't that be fun if you had to have a $2 bill? The banks would hate. I wonder if Casey Spencer can get us a bunch of $2 bills. Casey, think you can do that for us from the bank? But $2. Everything's $2. Honestly, we make a little bit of money on this, but honestly, this is really a break-even thing for the PTO. It's a service, and the PTO does tons of services for us. So thank you. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're all well. Thank you for indulging me. Keep up the good work. Boys and girls, I miss you. Big hug. Watch the video today of my announcements because I don't know. I may be in a silly costume because you know what? It's fun to do those things. So happy Thanksgiving and everyone stay safe. Okay? Thank you.